Dears, how are you, and welcome to another exciting video about coin collecting where we explore some of the most fascinating coins in history. Dears, today we are diving deep into the 1989 Lincoln cent, commonly referred to as the 1-cent Liberty coin. You might think it's just a regular penny, but the 1989 penny has a rich history and some rare varieties that can be worth far more than its face value. Whether you are a seasoned collector and investor or someone who's just curious about the coins jingling in your pocket, this episode is for you. By the end of this video, you will know everything there is to know about the 1989 Lincoln penny, including its design, composition, history, key errors, and what makes certain versions of this coin so valuable in today's market. Let's get started. Before we focus specifically on the 1989 penny, let's take a brief journey back in time to understand the significance of the Lincoln cent as a whole. The Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, this was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of a real person, marking a significant departure from earlier coins that typically depicted symbolic figures such as Lady Liberty. From 1909 to 1958, the reverse of the Lincoln cent featured two wheat stalks and was known as the wheat penny. Then in 1959, to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, the U.S. Mint introduced a new reverse design, the Lincoln Memorial. This reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, was used from 1959 until 2008, creating what is now known as the Lincoln Memorial cent. The 1989 penny falls within this era, and though millions of these pennies were produced, some of them possess rare errors and unique features that make them highly collectible. But more on that later. Let's now dive into the specifics of the 1989 1-cent Liberty penny. The 1989 Lincoln cent continued the design format that had been in use since 1959. Here's a breakdown of the coin's design elements. The obverse of the 1989 Lincoln cent features a right-facing profile of President Abraham Lincoln, a design that has remained relatively unchanged since its introduction in 1909. The word Liberty is inscribed to the left of Lincoln's bust, while the date 1989 is displayed to the right. Above Lincoln's head is the phrase "I in God we trust," one of the most enduring elements of U.S. coinage. The reverse of the coin showcases the Lincoln Memorial designed by Frank Gasparo. If you look closely, you can see a small image of Lincoln seated inside the memorial, a subtle but interesting detail. The phrase "United States of America" is inscribed above the memorial, with the coin's denomination 1 cent written at the bottom. The Latin motto "E pluribus unum" is placed between the memorial and the country's name. By 1989, the composition of the Lincoln cent had changed significantly from its early copper days. Due to the rising cost of copper, the U.S. Mint switched the composition of the penny in 1982 from 95% copper to a copper-plated zinc format. The 1989 penny is composed of 97.5% zinc with a thin copper coating 2.5%. This change greatly reduced the cost of producing the penny, but it also meant that the coin was more susceptible to damage, and where in 1989 the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, as the 1-cent coin remained an essential part of everyday commerce. The 1989 Lincoln cent was minted at three main locations: Philadelphia No Mint Mark, Denver D Mint Mark, and San Francisco S Mint Mark for proof coins. Here's a quick breakdown of the mintage numbers for each mint. Approximately 7.2 billion pennies were minted in Philadelphia, making it the most common version of the 1989 Lincoln cent. About 5.3 billion pennies were minted at the Denver Mint. While still very common, pennies with the D Mint mark are slightly more collectible than those from Philadelphia. San Francisco S Mint Mark proof coins: roughly 3.2 million proof coins were minted in San Francisco. Proof coins are specially made for collectors and have a mirror-like finish with sharp, detailed designs. These coins are often worth more than their regular counterparts due to their superior quality and limited production. With billions of 1989 pennies produced, you might be wondering, what makes some of these pennies so valuable today? The answer lies in rare mint errors, high-grade examples, and specific varieties, all of which we will cover in the next chapters. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is finding rare errors and varieties that make an ordinary coin worth far more than its face value. The 1989 Lincoln cent is no exception. While the vast majority of 1989 pennies are worth just 1 cent, there are some notable errors that can fetch hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. Let's look at a few. A double die error occurs when the coin's design is struck more than once by the die, creating a doubling effect on the coin's surface. This error can happen on the obverse front or reverse back. Double die errors are among the most sought after coin errors in the world of numismatics. For the 1989 penny, there are known double die varieties, particularly on the obverse. Collectors should look for noticeable doubling on Lincoln's profile, the date, or the inscriptions "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust." A 1989 penny with a double die error can be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 depending on the severity of the doubling and the coin's overall condition. An off-center strike occurs when the coin is not properly aligned with the die during the minting process, resulting in a design that appears shifted. Some 1989 pennies were struck off-center with parts of the design missing from the coin's surface. The more off-center the strike, the more valuable the coin. A 1989 penny with a significant off-center strike could be worth anywhere from $100 to $500 depending on the degree of the error. Die cracks happen when the die used to strike the coin develops a crack, causing raised lines to appear on the coin's surface. Die cracks are less valuable than double die errors or off-center strikes, but they are still of interest to collectors. Depending on the size and location of the crack, a 1989 penny with a die crack could be worth between $10 and $50. A clipped planchet error occurs when the blank piece of metal used to strike the coin is improperly cut, resulting in a coin with a missing portion. These errors are less common, but they are quite valuable. A 1989 penny with a clipped planchet could be worth $50 to $300 depending on the severity of the clipping. Its market value is $890 billion today. Proof pennies minted in San Francisco are specially made for collectors and are struck with extra care to ensure sharp details and a mirror-like finish. These proof coins are typically worth more than regular circulation pennies. A 1989 proof penny in perfect condition PR69 or PR70 could be worth between $5 and $50. When it comes to determining the value of any coin, condition plays a critical role. Coin grading is the process of evaluating a coin's condition and assigning it a numerical grade on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. For the 1989 Lincoln cent, here's a quick guide to understanding coin grades and their potential value. These coins have been used in commerce and show significant wear. A circulated 1989 penny is typically worth only its face value, 1 cent. These coins show only slight wear and have most of their original details intact. A 1989 penny in AU condition could be worth 0.10 to 1. Mint state coins are uncirculated and show no signs of wear. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin. A 1989 penny in MS65 or higher could be worth 5 to 20 depending on its luster and strike quality. Dear sir, if you believe you have a high-grade 1989 penny, it might be worth getting it professionally graded by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC, please.